Hi, and welcome to Maths Made Easy. This is going to be a tutorial on how to write numbers in standard form. Firstly, just a quick introduction on what standard form is. Standard form is a method or a way to write numbers that often scientists use, and it gives a quick way to see how big numbers are in comparison to each other. So if we have a number that's really long, it's a nice way to write it that lets us see how big it is at a glance without having to count loads and loads of digits. Anyway, let's get down to the method. Imagine we have a number like 1, 4, 7, 2, 3, 5, 0. And now the question asks us to write this number in standard form. What do we do? Well, it's very simple. All we do is count the number of digits after the first digit, or from the last digit, if you will. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we write the number like this. We take the first digit, we put the decimal point, we write all the other digits, and then we write times 10, and then to the power of, and the power we put is the number of digits we counted, so 10 to the power of 6 in this case. Let's see another example. 7, 2, 4, 0, 0, 0. Write that as standard form. So just like before, we count the number of places after the first digit, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we write the number out with the decimal point, and then we write times 10, and then to the number of digits we counted, times 10 to the power of 5. Now actually what we can do is we don't really care about these zeros at the end, so we can kind of just get rid of them. It doesn't really matter about those zeros, so we would actually write 7.24 times 10 to the power of 5. And that's how you write numbers as standard form when they are whole big numbers and not decimal numbers. So let's get an example there. So could you write 1492600 in standard form? Pause the video, give it a try, and I'll give you the answer in a minute. Okay, so just like above, we first count the number of digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not counting that first one. Then we write out the number with the decimal point put after the first digit. We're going to ignore those last zeros, just like before, and then we write times 10 to the power of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Okay, now what about if you want to write a decimal as a standard form number? So let's say we have something like 0.00042. Well, it's a very similar process, except this time we count the number of digits up to this first number. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4 digits, and then that gives us 4.2. And then just like before, we're writing the decimal point after our first actual digit, 4.2, and then we write times 10, and then this time we put a minus, and then we put the number of digits we had, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's have another example. So 0.013701. Now, so following the above method, we count the number of digits before our first number, so that's going to be the number of zeros really, so that's 1, 2. Now we write our number out, starting from the first actual number, 1.3701, then we write times 10, and then we write to the power of minus 2. So let's just recap that method. We count the number of zeros before the first non-zero number. So here it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and here it was 1, 2. Then we write it as the first number with the decimal point and the other numbers. So here it was 4.2, here it was 1.3701. And then we write times 10 to the power of minus, and then the number of digits that we counted. So here, let's have one more example to do. And another example that's not a decimal. Okay, so pause the video, give those a try, and then I'll talk you through them. Okay, so this first one, like above, we count the number of zeros before our first number, so that's 1, 2, 3. Then we write our number out with the decimal point, starting with where the first non-zero number is, times 10, and then we write to the minus and then the number of digits we counted, 3. Whereas here, we count the number of digits up to this first one, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we write our number out, 3.4290, sticking that decimal point after the first number. Then we write times 10, and then we put to the power of, not a negative, but a positive number this time, the number of digits we counted, times 10 to the power of 4. So you see the difference. When it's a decimal number, we use a minus, and we put our decimal point in after the first digit that's not a 0. Whereas when it's a whole number, we count the number of digits after this first number, and then we put our decimal point in after the first digit. So those are the two methods you need to know to write numbers in standard form.